What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back. We are on episode 11 of the Government Coins podcast. I am Shakia. I'm one of the hosts of Government Coins, and I'm also the founder and CEO of GovLA. I'll join here with my two amazing co-hosts. Hamza, you are on mute.
I think since he's muted,
as always, I'm always on mute because I'm always being told to shut up. But I am Hamza Sabri, CEO, founder of Global Connects, and I'm one of the amazing co-hosts of Government Coins, the podcast, which is the #1 government contracting podcast in the U.S. And all the people that's tuned in today, please put all your ears on and get your pen and pad because we're definitely about to share some valuable information.
Awesome. And I hope everyone can hear me because I got my audio together. So everyone, my name is Chris Lee. I am the founder of the Black Bunker and also Chrissy G Consulting and one of the co-hosts of Government Coins podcast.
So everyone, we had a guest who actually reached out to us and sent us an article. And the article talked about a group of Black women coming together, to increase the amount of opportunities that they have access to. And we looked at it and said, oh, this is something that we are all about. So what we did was went ahead and reached out to the Bow Collective. And we are here joined by Nicole and Stacy. Nicole is actually one of the founding members of the Bow Collective. Nicole, would you mind telling us a little bit more about yourself and then also about Bow Collective?
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. We are so excited to be here. We're so proud of you all and the amazing work you do in the space. Again, my name is Nicole Cober. I am one of the 52 founding members of the Bow Collective. The Bow Collective stands for Black Owner and Women's Collective. We are 50 businesses together, and our annual gross sales are over 270 million. We really wanted to make impact together. A criteria for membership is that you have scaled your business to at least $1 million. And that's significant because we want to take the argument of lack of capacity off the table. So when you're dealing with these levels of success, right? We are in the top 0.5% of all small businesses. Why is that? Well, 90+% of all businesses are solopreneurs. And then out of that, you have about 4% that actually meet the $1 million threshold. What does that mean? That tells you a little bit something about their bandwidth. So our sisters have all been in business as entrepreneurs at least 5 years. They have an average of 5 to 10 team members. We are building these amazing companies in our own communities. That means that we're hiring African Americans. We are helping African American employees buy in their own communities. So the seismic effect of these businesses are stellar. I will say because we're on Government Coins that we have a fair majority of our members are government contractors. We are based out of Washington, D.C., although we have national members in states from as far as California to New York. But we have a lot of government contractors who have navigated that space successfully. And my sister Stacy Redmond is an amazing example of that. She is a seismic and serial entrepreneur who has grown companies into not 1 million or 10 million, but dare I say over 100 million in government contracts. So the lessons that we have learned over the years, we are now sharing our resources, coming together strategically, and we're trying to make a name for Black women in this space and create that pipeline of resources and relationships for Black women coming behind us.
That's such a key point, and being able to connect together to be your own resources. Like that's a huge undertaking. I will put it that way. And also, Stacey, would you mind telling us a little bit more about the work that you do as well?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for having us here today. It's truly an honor to be here with my sister, Nic, and being able to support that. It's been truly an amazing experience, and I can't wait to see the things that we're going to do. So a little bit about me. So I've been actually involved in the federal government space for about 35 years now, in uniform, in the military, and as a civil servant, and then later with industry. And as Nic mentioned, my government experience is pretty deep. One of the companies that I founded, I was able to scale that company from startup to over $20 million in annual revenues in less than 3 years. And over the course of 13 years, took that company to a little over $200 million in revenue. So that was exciting, and I've just acquired a new company in a different line of business. It's an architectural millwork company, so we're doing some beautiful woodwork on both the commercial and the residential side, and I'm using this business to really fulfill my passion, which is creating meaningful employment opportunities for veterans and the formerly incarcerated, and as well as the underprivileged. So I'm really excited to be able to take my business, and as Nic had mentioned, how do we give back to the communities? How are we creating jobs in the communities? And be able to do that, and to be able to do it with my sisters.
That's great. And I would say over a period of 3 years and hitting 100 million, 20 million, then 200 million, that is absolutely insane. So kudos to you, and we will be talking after this.
Most definitely. Interested to know more about the CJR company, or the CJR group. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So my company started out as Cober, Johnson, and Romney. We are a business consulting practice, and we are very unusual in that can you get attorneys in the same room with land developers, in the same room with communication experts? Well, that's our firm. And we recently split them up. They're both very successful. So we have a CJR Development firm, and my husband and I started our company in 2015. And we really kind of take stock in doing public-private partnerships. So again, bringing it back to government contracts, government coins. Our first project was being fee developers with local municipalities to help them be land developers. How do you use tax credits? How do you look at land that's sitting there and maximize it so that you can have amazing, affordable property that teachers and firefighters and just hardworking people can afford and take pride in? And so that kind of collaboration is what our firm specializes in.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I've been reading into your bio, and the CEO of my soul. I just love the title of that book. Can you just share some insight on that? I would love to.
So I think the thing, the biggest compliment that I've ever gotten is that I am the queen of the pivot game. All right. So when I tell you I have had, I just go for it. You know, if there's something that I like, I started, my first career was as an attorney. I worked in a firm and I really hated it. And apparently they didn't like me too much either, because they fired me from my first, after 4 years. And I was like, you know what, am I going to do this all over again? Am I going to just work really hard at being mediocre? Because that's what I was doing. I was doing insurance coverage. It was just not my jam. It was not my jam. And so instead of going for the safe, I became an entrepreneur. And my first business was a day spa and hair salon. And guess what the name was? You got it, Soul. It was Soul Day Spa in Washington, D.C. We had 2 locations over 10 years. And I learned so much about business, like boots on the ground, how to take my legal work and really make it work for me. So I did my trademark work. I did my business plan, got financing, all of the things that we as entrepreneurs know very well. But I did it in a space that I loved. And after it closed, I realized that I love consulting. I really love helping people build things. I've been that way since I was a child. I love putting stuff together. And now that book was what I chose to write about, was the 10 years of that, putting the business together, running it, and really losing it, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we are all serial entrepreneurs. We are all going through different things and phases in our business. And sometimes though the chapter of that business closes, and you have to realize that your true power, the CEO of your soul, is that you are the gift. The business is not the gift. You are the gift. And my faith tells me that God gave me the gift. And so I use that lesson to say, yes, even though my business closed, or even though I was fired, or, and different things, the gifts are still embedded within me to regenerate and to be the queen of the pivot. And that's exactly what I did. That led me to this consulting firm, because I realized that I really enjoyed business. I really enjoyed cheerleading, motivating people, and helping them with their business plan and all the different things that come along with entrepreneurship. And that's what being the CEO of your soul is that you let your soul, let your spirit direct your decisions. And I definitely think that entrepreneurs do that on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I love it.
Nicole, you have competition. I'm going to say this to Hamza. Hamza has competition, and we might just have to pass the pastoral hat to Nicole for today's session, because we have started this moment on a good note. And honestly, Nicole, you couldn't have spoken more to, I think, some of our journeys. I was also HR, 8 years, got a master's, go to, Georgetown University. I used to live in DC, and then get fired. Mm-hmm. And then it does require a level of believing in yourself, and understanding, like, you know what, I'm the actual gift. Like, I'm the one that was running the airport operations and making sure that everything's right. So it does require that in order to start business. Now, I am like invested at this moment with listening to Stacey and you, Nicole, about, the Bow Collective. And so the article that we read recently, there are more than 50 of the top Black women-owned organizations that come together to bid on contract opportunities. Is that what you all focus on, or do you all do GovCon, like 60% Gov, 40% private? Like, how does the collective work? Because that's like, what Deloitte founded its, feet on, or KPMG, or Leidos. That is essentially the groundwork for some of these large consulting firms. So either Stacey or Nicole, like, what does that look like for Bow Collective?
So I'll take that, Stacey. a couple of things. You asked what we focus on. We really focus on 3 things for our members. I believe my members are my clients. I see them as such. I want to scale their businesses, and I want to do it in one of 3 ways: access to capital, so capital, communications, and contracts. All right. So what you touched on was only one of our 3 pillars. We have an amazing capital team that is trying to come together, bring banks to the table with our members, not necessarily in the aggregate, but we do say, hey, you're looking at 50 businesses that within 4 years, just generally have done $1 billion, have pumped $1 billion not only into the communities, but into your banks. And not all of them have lines. So that's one fight that we do, and we're doing it collectively because sometimes it's very intimidating, right? You get rejected, you're by yourself, even though you have one of the most successful small businesses, you're still getting denied. That's humbling, humiliating, and we're trying to bring our sisters together. So with that strength and confidence. The second pillar is the communications. We want to, again, fight against the narrative, hey, we would really love to do business with you, but we just don't know where Black women businesses are. And if we do, we need to give you training, because we got to give you all the training you can get because you just don't have the capacity to do business with us, right? So we want to say, hello, we're here. You're looking for not only Black businesses, but the top of the game, the top of our game, and we're doing it together. And then finally is contracts. And you asked a great question. We are doing a both and, meaning we are focusing on the private space and we're focusing on the government space. We just got, it's hard to believe, we just got started in February, but we do have at least 10 different industries that are represented in the collective. You have everything from physicians' offices to IT companies, to land developers, to communications experts. And that's very powerful because not all of them, let me back up a bit. We have several government contractors. They're already successful, but they want help coming into the private space, right? So that argument is real sweet. Hey, I'm doing 10 million with DOD. I can definitely do what you need, Microsoft, right? That's the power of the collective, number one. Number two, yes, we do have groups within our collective, lots of communications companies, right? So part of the CJR group is a communications. We do web design, we do branding, we do the trademark work for different companies. But guess what? Now we're saying, okay, sisters, we want to go after a $50 million contract with DOD. You're going to do the PR, you're going to do the branding, you're going to do the web development. Oh, we're going to pull that attorney's firm in. Y'all are going to do the trademark. That collective mindset is going to catapult us to another level. We now know what our floor is. Our floor is what we can do by ourselves. Our ceiling is limitless because we have all of these people that are like, knowing, and trusting each other. And we're like, hey girl, we have a cardiologist. Oh, my mama's sick. That type of pick up the phone, amazing dynamic is just breathtaking to me. And we want it replicated. I want to see them win. I definitely want these groups to be able to scale. And once we have it within this year, we're going to replicate it, share that secret sauce, and take it around the country.
I love it. Take it global. I love it.
Amen. Yes, we do. We have the continent of Africa. Oh my gracious, the work that we're going to do. So that is definitely in our strategic plan, to be sure.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
I'll be joining the Bow Collective like as soon as we get off this phone.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
I
most
know
definitely.
that's
I'm
right.
like, what do you need? Am I tax returns? Like,
I love it.
So,
I
yeah.
love it.
For the people that's viewing, they see the importance of being a part of collective. It's a group economics, group support, group help. So everyone plays a big role in these type of collective type of organizations. And I advise that, people that's listening and tuning in to always see what information that you can seek out from joining in certain type of collectives that can help your business, especially being aspiring entrepreneur. I see a lot of questions within that I'm about to just skip because I love getting straight to the money. Right. And tell us how or can your resources through this collective help small businesses get access to capitals? That's just some of the major restraints from small businesses pursuing these certain type of government contracts that may be out of their own financial capacity. How can they able to get access to financing for their contracts and stuff like that to give them more confidence of pursuing maybe contracts in the 6 to 7 figure range?
That's a great question. So I'm going to answer it a couple of different ways. I mentioned to you, we have a capital subcommittee, and that's that capital subcommittee is working in combination with our communications. We really are going to report out, meaning a lot of banks, financial institutions, they're very cagey about, okay, you got denied, but we don't know why. And this, we're going to be transparent, and we're going to say, even we do have several sisters that may not need lines, but we're all coming together and we're all going to apply for something. But the most important part of this is the strategy of reporting out, because do you want to be one of the banks that didn't lend to the top performing Black women businesses, small businesses in general? Do you want to be on that list? Do you not want to be on that list? So you could do the carrot or the stick, because we said, at my core, I'm a communications person. I know how to shape narratives very effectively. So we could do this one, and I got kids too. So you do not mess with a Black mama. We can do it the easy way, or we could do it the hard way, right? Either or. So that's one step, because we believe that if we bring awareness to these members, that it is going to also help us help the people that are coming behind us, which leads to my next point. In addition to those 50, we have another category of membership, our sister business owners. These are 10 businesses that are at 250,000 or higher. That's still only 1%. So, and we hate that. We want this number to scale. But what we're going to do with these 10 is we're going to put together boards, and our BOW members are going to serve on those boards, giving them relationships and resources to help get them to that number. I also want to say that, again, the awareness piece is so critical, right? Because if nobody is if we're not advocating for ourselves, it's going to be very hard for that startup business to get anyone to listen to them. I heard what you said about the actual cash. And the answer to that is the BOW Fund. All right. We also created this organization so that we can pool our money and have matching funds so that we can go out. We know where those amazing, exciting new businesses that no one else knows about, they're in our communities. We have our ear to the ground. And so we know we have to have our own money to fund. And it's the beauty, it's the both and. We're going after their money. We're putting our money, we're matching our money with their money. It's all about money. And we're unapologetic about trying to get all the money, all the coins. So, we're excited. I'm only one, me and Stacey are only two. We have 52 because we have co-presidents. 2 of our firms have co-presidents. We have all this enthusiasm. we have all this power and we have all this love. It really is love. And I think that that is what we have to start seeing too. I'm sorry, I'm taking the mic a bit, but I want to say that people, especially in business, it's like, oh, I don't want to tell nobody my idea. I don't want to, oh, I got burned. You cannot approach and win by yourself. You just cannot. You can get a little traction, but if you want to explode, if you want to be a mogul, we have mogul mentality within our membership. And that's how can we partner? How can we partner? You don't see any other community doing things just by themselves. It is all, let me hook up so-and-so. Let me give so-and-so a loan. Let me give them a contract. But we are all clutching our pearls. Oh, I don't want to be seen as, forget that. That's the one thing that I know all my sisters say is those rules don't apply to us. All the people at the top, the rules don't apply. You don't see them following them, right? That's for everybody else. We're like, let's hook my girl up. No, come on. Change that mentality, do it together, and it will be explosive. I just know it.
Oh, I like that. We talk all
That's
the time.
great. That's great.
Oh, Stacey.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yeah, I got you. Sorry, I had to go off camera. I got an unstable connection here, but I wanted to jump in on this point if I could, because you have to think about, you asked about cash and you think about access to capital. Look, you've got 50 women here that are running over $1 million businesses. And I got to tell you, those 50 women are networked. Period. We are networked and we have connections. So we have either established banking relationships, we've got access to angel investors, we got access to venture capitalists, we've got access to different types of funding streams. When you bring that collection together, that resource together, there's a lot of power there. And that's what the Bow Collective is about, is how can we leverage all of our resources to be successful together? And to Nic's point, we're not individuals. I don't think I've been in a meeting, a conversation, an event where someone hasn't said, how can I help you? And that's powerful. So, I'm very excited to see us working together. Many have done it before, and I'm just so proud of Nic for seeing this and bringing this to fruition for us. So
awesome. So it just goes back to the power of relationships winning championships, the network, being a part of the collective. You have over 50, strong, powerful women within entrepreneurship and business that have resources of their own that they use in a pot of using each other, almost like a potluck. Everybody brings something great into the potluck so we can eat, for that's good for us. So I think that is dope. And that's important. That's how you can collectively help push people into getting to that next tier just in business. So you have someone that goes and, sees the opportunity of a 7-figure government contract and understands how to calculate all the expenses and budget that come with that. And they submit in their proposal and they get awarded, but they don't have that finance, and they can tap back into the resources of their collective and say, hey, this is what I have, a multi-million-dollar contract, but I need assistance with financials so I can, pay payroll and take care of that responsibility. And that's where a team comes in and support that entrepreneur, support that business owner to help them grow. And that is the most important part, that it's the resources, not just money. If you have a plan, if you have a will, then there's a way. And if you have a plan, then that's perfect as well, because it doesn't always just take money to make something happen. It takes something like being a part of a collective or having that relationship to reach out to people that have resources that you don't have and align them and leverage them. And everybody wins that way too.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. One thing I wanted to ask just before we hop off, I know we're already literally at our time, but we talked about advocacy, and we wanted to ask a little bit about advocacy in terms of the going after government contracting opportunities, but just advocating for more access to opportunities and more opportunities for women and well, minority Black women owned businesses in this space.
I think so. I just finished serving. I had a presidential appointment for the National Women's Business Council. That is the quintessential government advocacy group for women in business. I will say that I've heard lots of different stories from different women in business and challenges. And it really is just the power of, having your voice be heard. As business owners, and I do coaching, the biggest trap that you can get into is working for your business. I'm in there. If I'm an IT specialist, I'm doing the IT. If I'm a hairstylist, I'm doing the hair. You have to learn how to figuratively and literally step from behind the chair and do your own advocacy work. You have to sit on these boards. You have to go to these meetings. People use networking as a bad word, but if people don't know you, they can't grow you. And I just made that up, actually. I think that was great. But if they don't know you, they can't be vested in you, right? And I learned this early with my first business at a hair salon. And I learned a bad lesson because I was behind the chair. I didn't do hair, but I was behind the desk. I was washing towels. I was serving tea. I was doing facials. But I never got out and advocated for myself. I never left in enough time to go to a political fundraiser. I never left in time to go sit on a board and say, hey, get to know other people who have influence. And I lost that business, and I had no one to really help me say, hey, this, she's been 10 years in the game here, Florida North Capitol. I go there now. I mean, there's all kinds of new businesses and buildings and so forth. And so once you see that is such a critical part of the hats that you wear is be your own advocate and have people speak your name. Have them speak your name when you're not in that room, because that's when the decision, if you can't be in the room where it happens, homage to Hamilton, if you cannot be in the room where it happens, you need somebody that's in the room that's advocating for you. And it is it's more important than your technical proficiency, is more important than the capital, is making sure you have those relationships that will navigate all of the other things that come your way as an entrepreneur.
I don't know, like, Nicole is hitting every single point that I've ever stated.
Am I hitting all your nerves, girl? Am I stepping on all the nerves?
Every last one, every single last one. And I know Shakia feels exactly the same way. Hamza feels the same way, because between the three of us, I feel like we spend so much time, especially for 2021, 2022. Like, I some days don't know what's happening, who's being hired for what company. But what I do know is when re-election is, what I do know is what time, they might be having some meeting or some town hall, whatever. So my last question for you, because I really need the audience to understand the importance, for those businesses that they want to impact their community, they know what their business idea is, they know their technical capabilities, they're a one-man, one-woman show. I always like to stick to that narrative because our audience is still within that confinement a little bit, right? They're a one-man, one-woman show, and they're running everything, right? How important is it for them to attend events that are essentially about, like, the government space, where it's the councilwoman, the congressman, the mayor, how would you stress that to them. We stress it all the time, but when it comes to political figures, and of course, Stacey can respond as well, how important is it as a business owner to be really in tune with your local politicians?
So great question. I heard a couple of things came up for me. One thing I learned on the council that was very, and I said it before, but it bears repeating, that 90% of business owners are solopreneurs. The reason that is a problem, that's something we need to change. Just hire one person. You want to be a job creator. In addition, now, a lot of people play fast and loose with it. It's like, oh, I got, I'm a solo, but I got 90 independent contractors. No, you need to go on record, pay your taxes so that you can go to those fundraisers and say, oh, I employ this many people. I paid for your fundraiser. I need more money, access to more money so that I can hire more people. That's an argument. That's a strategy, right? That's a strategy. Now we see, like, you don't want to be hustling, and you definitely can't be hustling as a government contractor. So you have to do the both and. You're an entrepreneur. It's in your spirit. You don't do just one thing, but I want to plant the seed in everyone is, how can I hire? And I understand that it takes capital. I do understand that. But I believe if you go, so we'll stay in the federal contracting or government contracting space, I believe, write those proposals, get those proposals written for the 1 million, have the vision that you are going to get it, and then get the people later. Get the people and the money later. Because after you get a contract approved, there will be a CDFI or a bank or somebody that'll be like, oh, she's about to get $1 million and she needs to start this work tomorrow. We're going to get that money, put a little fee on it, and there you have it. But if you wait until you're ready, you'll never begin. If you wait until you have it, you'll never scale. You'll never scale because you're trying to be too conservative. So I say you all have hearts of entrepreneurs. The way you scale is go after that contract, write that proposal, invest in that writer if it's not you, and then get that win and go get the people.
Yep, this is where we got to pass the offering basket on that one. We definitely have to pass the offering basket.
I'm ready to put something in
it. Nicole, I will say this to the audience. When Nicole said can speak immensely to my situation, I'm in a situation right now that if I'm awarded this contract, I do not have the capital. I don't have $11 million just sitting in the bank account on the side of the road. I wish I did, right? And so, I don't have that capital, but I went after a proposal based off of when I get it, these are the 30 bodies that I'm going to put in roll, interview them, paid for the ads, got the resumes together, went after it. And then another tip for our viewers is there are lenders that focus on what we call factoring, and it's not a long-term solution, please, right? You have to look into it where government contracting factoring, it's not based, and again, I always like to pay attention to the audience. Our audience are solopreneurs that are probably worried about their credit, worried about their finances, right? So to bring you guys a little bit of reality, you can use government contracting factoring that will focus on the credit of the agency that you are working with, okay? So they will add their fee, like Nicole said, they're going to add their fee because they got to get paid. But they will make sure that you get it's $11 million. They're going to be like, we will find you the money, right?
Can I just say this too? You don't, yes, full stop with yes on factoring. But if you've kept your credit good, I cannot express that enough, keeping your credit good as you can. But research different banks, because there are, especially in the DMV area, there are a lot of banks that focus on the government contract. And I know Stacey wants to add to that. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I was a couple of things I was, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, again, this unstable connection. So I don't mean to step on anybody. A couple of things you asked about, if you should pay attention to political parties and what's going on. I would say within the DMV, and especially if you're doing government contracting anywhere, yeah, you have to pay attention because what's going on with the government determines how they're going to spend the money and what their interests are. So you have to pay, if you're doing government contracting, you have to pay attention to that, because if you follow the presidential budget, you'll understand what's important to them just by following the money. So and all of that flows down into your local. As Nick had mentioned, with, how many people you are employing. I can tell you time and time again that it has always been about job creation. How many jobs are you creating in my county, in my state? It's always about the numbers. When you begin to talk in terms of job creation, that's when you begin to get interest. As far as factoring, keep your credit good. If you keep your credit good, you'd be surprised at what you can do, especially right now when the interest rates are still low. Factoring comes at a premium. Before you go factoring, what I would recommend is you go to a bank and get a line of credit based on your receivables. It's very similar to factoring, but it doesn't have all of those fees. So when your receivables come into the bank, it pays down your line of credit. Does exactly the same thing, but it's with the bank and it doesn't have crazy fees on it. Do that first. If you can't get it, then you have an alternative.
Yeah, Stacey,
the bank
actually,
loves
that was
government money.
That was one of the recommendations also, is the amount of funding opportunities. I think the issue for us is our audience gets so scared when they see an RFP or they see an opportunity. They're like, well, I don't have these people yet, or I don't have these resources. And it's so hard to move someone out of we'll figure it out. We'll shift your mindset, and instead of saying I don't have it, instead let's identify what do I need to get it. Then write those down, and those are the things we'll attack after we're awarded. We'll put a 10-day, hold after award, and we'll say within 10 days we need to be able to staff these people, get the insurance together, get the benefits. Do we need a benefits plan? Do we need this insurance type? All these things will happen within 10 business days, and then we can move, right? And so I feel like financing shouldn't stop anybody from going after a government contract. If anything, it's like, we will figure it out later.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Chrisley. And it's an entrepreneurial mindset. Go win the work and you'll figure it out.
Yes, that's less than one of the one of the things about just being great is sometimes you just have to get started and you have to just do it and fix everything along the way, and success loves speed. So it's not about having all the T's and crossing I's dotted, because you trying to cross all the T's and make sure everything perfect. Opportunities went past like 1,000 times, and sometimes it takes to just go ahead and jump out.
While you're figuring
go ahead.
While you're figuring everything out, your competition is already bidding all the work that you're letting go by.
Absolutely.
That what Stacey just said. Again, going back to the council, we had a forum on STEM, women in STEM business. I know we're over. I know, just cut my mic, but they talked about women in the sciences and how these girls, they love science all until they got to college, and then they got their first C. And instead of continuing and getting the major in chemistry with that C, she internalized that that was not an A, and she totally dropped out and did not fester on. Meanwhile, her male counterpart is like, thank you, Lordy, for the C, going on. And it is a mindset that, you know, sometimes it's not an entrepreneurial mindset that I have to have all this and I don't have. That's not it. The entrepreneurial mindset is, I was given a vision. I was given a vision to do this thing. And that's where your faith meets the facts, is that I don't need to know what tomorrow is. And I can't. Here's the thing, Chrisley, you talked about people being afraid of that 11 million because they don't believe they'll be able to fund it. You're a fundamentally different business with different resources once you have an $11 million contract. Your asset game is totally different. It's not the same. You have an asset. And as Stacey said, there will be banks that's secure. So even maybe your credit is not this or whatever, but if they see 11 million is coming in, you're a different person. So speak to your future, not your present existence. Yes, today I don't, but tomorrow I will. And just keep pushing out into what that future aspect of your business will be. And because that's what they've done. Look, I've studied them. I love these ladies. I slid on in there, but I study them and I listen to them, and their narrative is the same. They believe in themselves. Go and watch our podcast, The Bo Knows Business. These women, they believe in themselves. They are hungry. They have a mindset of excellence. It's powerful. And so I've never met anybody that has gotten anything that didn't believe in themselves. So that's what I would do with your audience. And I'm so proud of what you guys are doing. Keep doing it.
Before you leave, please let everybody know how to get your book, CEO of My Soul.
Well, first, I want them to know my Bo sisters. I am such a fangirl. Go to our website, thebocollective.org, sign up, become a member. You're going to be able to see their great stories. They're doing their podcast interviews. They're sharing these stories that we've done today because they want to scale your business. That's the first thing. And then, thank you, my friend. I would say your check's in the mail, but this is a government contract show, so I cannot say that. But I appreciate you pumping my little old book, CEO of My Soul. It is on Amazon. It is my heart and soul, but it is the story of an entrepreneurial spirit that you keep getting up. You know, no battle, no war is won with one battle. You just keep getting up, keep fighting, and focus on the finish. And that's what my life has been about.
Awesome.
Stacey, you have any parting words for us in the audience?
No, I would just say thank you all for what you're doing. I mean, this is great. Nic, thanks for having me here with you today. This is wonderful and always a learning experience. And if there's ever, connect with me on LinkedIn. Anybody who's listening, if I can help, I will. And thanks again for having us here today.
I'm going to drop your LinkedIn in the chat now. So you will, this is also on YouTube. So you'll start getting random LinkedIn requests, but they'll usually let you know where they come from. But yes, thank you both so much. It has been such a great podcast episode for us. We wanted to really introduce the importance of collaboration and working together and being able to grow together. And I feel like this conversation transcended that, and you poured into our soul today. So as an entrepreneur, it really provided some additional outlook into seeing how women who are at the top 0.05% are actually advocating for themselves, connecting together to build opportunities and create opportunities for everyone else. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. To our audience, we really appreciate y'all. They were going in the chat, like talking about, I love this episode. This information so useful. This conversation was, they called it a high level conversation. So definitely a really good episode. So excited to be here and share this information with you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I am signing off. I'm Shakia Kegler with the Government Coins Podcast.
Hey everyone, I am Chrisley Gantier, also with the Government Coins Podcast.
And I am Hamza Sabri, the last Mohican of the Government Coins Podcast. And this was a dope episode. I'm definitely gonna watch the replay on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm getting my copy of CEO of My Soul. I'm getting a few copies to pass them out.
Facts.
You know what? We'll pass them out. Maybe we'll do some at the at one of our government tours this summer.
Oh,
Yeah,
and you are right outside of DC, and we'll be in DC. We'll talk. Definitely, because we can probably get some of the Bo sisters on a panel to come out. And
yes, I would love to meet you in person.
Yes.
I whatever you guys need, we're so grateful to you. Thank you for sharing your platform with us today.
Absolutely. Chrisley, she be coming through, reminding us of what's going on. We do so much. It's just, but yes. Ending the live stream now. We love y'all. We'll see y'all. Share this episode with anyone that you know needs this information, and we'll see y'all in the next episode. All right, peace.